Okay, today's lesson on P6 is going to be concerning the layouts and filters within the program. So we're going to start out with layouts. Now, P6 comes with several canned layouts. Okay, what I'm going to do initially, I'm going to show you the final effects of different layouts and how it changes the screen, and then we will go work our way backwards and I'll actually show you how to create a different layout. But I want you to see first what the net effect is. So I'm going to open up an existing project that I was recently working on. I'm going to open this project. Now you'll notice that it looks normal here. It's got the name of the title. It's showing the different major categories. We could roll this up. You can see here these are the main subcategories of the project. If you open this up, it even then starts talking about deliverable dates, pre-design. Okay, so it makes sense, right? We've built upon our work breakdown structure, which was our previous lesson. Now notice here there is a drop-down window, and the layout says this is the LKC SWA update view to Lucille. And over here you'll see that the columns set up are remaining duration, start, finish, and total float. Well, what you don't see here is the original duration. You don't see predecessors, successors, and you don't see the baseline. Now, let's go back over here. This is the update view. So what I have done is I have created a layout that is specifically with just the columns that you need in order to update a schedule. And those would be remaining duration, start, finish, period. I did this so that it would make it easier for me to update it, because you need actual start, actual finish, or the remaining duration for each activity. Now I can go over here and I can hit layout and I can say open. It's always going to ask you, would you like to save the changes to the layout? If you already have them saved, you don't need to resave them. If you have made changes on the screen, then you need to hit save so that it will. So in this case, it's already been saved. I'm going to say no. Notice it takes me to another pop-up window that has all these different layouts. There's one here for the Cougar Village project. There's one here for FP&C, CPM services. Notice there's several layouts here for this SWA, which is the same client. So I've got a regular layout, I've got the proposals, I've got the update view, and I've got the WBS layout. Let's just go to the WBS layout and hit apply and hit OK. If we go up here and we widen the screen, okay, you'll notice now we've got original duration. So you can preset up views, these layouts, to fit whatever you're going to be doing when you're within the program. If you're going to be creating the schedule from scratch, then you probably want a different layout. If you're going to be updating it, you're going to probably want a different layout. It does come with, and we're going to go back in here, open, no, there are canned layouts. There are the classic WBS layout. There's a classic schedule analysis layout. Earned value, current versus baseline. You're getting the picture here that there's several different layouts that come naturally with the program. Now I make it a standard policy that whenever I'm creating layouts, if I have done them customized, I use my initials in the beginning of the layout name. That way it makes it easier for me to find this particular layout that I'm looking for, since they're all grouped together. So let's just look at something here. If I go back to the classic schedule layout and hit apply and open and come over here, notice all of a sudden the columns I have available to me look very different, as do the colors. So what you're seeing here is the code designation, the WBS number, along with the description. You recognize this, this, and this. So in my previous layouts, I have taken out this code because nobody really cares about the code. Most people looking at the schedule are going to look here at the descriptor. Notice it's got a whole different set of columns. You've got schedule percentage complete, both original and remaining duration, and then the typical activities here. So you're beginning to see how layouts are a quick and easy way to be able to see different aspects of a project. Now, this again goes back to, and I'm going to go back to the view that I was looking at, which is the update view. This is my original one. You've heard me say in class numerous times, and you will hear me say at least another 100 times before we finish this semester, that the most important aspect of a schedule is how easy is it to get the data out of the schedule. How easy is it to mine the data out of the schedule? So this becomes very, very important. Okay? Well, these layouts help facilitate getting the data out of the schedule in a much faster way. Okay, so now let's talk about filters. So if you're looking here and you scroll over to the right, you'll notice here is your filter status. Now right now it has filtered for all activities. If I come in here, now notice it's just giving me a status. It doesn't have a drop down, so we can't control it from this area here. So of all the icons at the top, which do you think is most likely to represent the filter function? Well, if you guess the funnel, guess what? You're right. Okay? So it says filter by. So I'm going to hit the drop down, go to customize. Now, again, in this upper area right here, it's already selected. This is what your status of where your filter is. So right now I've selected all activities. Okay? These are all filters that are built within the program. So you can go to longest path, you can go to what the critical path is, you can show what's been completed, you can show non-critical, you can show not started activities. Okay, we can go to the global. These are global customizations. And then these are actually user-defined filters that I've set up by sub-project, whether it's a delay activity, fall and spring semester. Obviously this relates to a special schedule that I was building, and this is the WBS Al-Kharij project. Okay? So the other part that you need to look at is when applying the filter, do you want to replace the activities shown in the current layout, or do you just want to highlight the activities in this layout that correspond to your filter? I typically use the replace activities shown in current layout because that way you're only seeing very, very quickly the information that you're looking for. Now, it doesn't take the data out of your schedule. All it does is filter it out of the view once you hit apply. Okay, that's very important. If you click this option, it does not delete any of your data over here. All it does is temporarily obscure it from view. Okay? Very important. Now, one of the biggest bugaboos that you'll need to remember about using filters is a lot of times you'll forget to check this line to see what filter you've set up on a project. I never will forget when I first started working, I would get so focused on what I was doing that I would forget to check the filter button. And I'd go into my project and half the data would be missing, and I was like, oh, what did the computer program do to my data? And my heart would start racing, and then all of a sudden I'd go, oh, wait a minute, dummy, you forgot to put back all the activities. So it's real important whenever you use these filters that you always come back and select all activities again, so that you don't give yourself a little mini stroke each time you open the program. A little humor there, but truly, until you get used to doing this, you'll be amazed at how often you do it. So in this particular case, we're going to click the critical button. We're going to hit apply. We're going to do OK. And guess what? The only activities that are now showing up are those that are on the critical path. Hence, you'll see a whole series of red lines. Now these yellow lines are the baseline. So this project's behind schedule, but all you see are red lines. That's it. So this is your critical path. Now, it doesn't get much easier than that as the ability to be able to go in and back check what your critical path is. It's a great, great tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, I'm going to do customize, and I'm going to hit all activities, and I'm going to hit OK, and notice now I have green activities. So it's let everything reappear on the screen. Okay? So that's the net effect of using these different functions. Now, let's go into this project, one that we've been using, and I'm going to hit open project. Okay. Now unfortunately we don't have set it all activities. Let's go here and see if we've set up a special layout. I'm going to say no. (3331) WBS layout. So I'm going to hit open. Okay. So this is the layout that I had set up for this particular project. Now you'll notice there are no activities yet. Okay? So we have to go in and create some activities so that we can then set the filter. But let's just say this was the original layout I set up. So it's got original, start, finish, budget, expense, cost, actual expense, and at completion cost. Well, for today's purposes, I'm not going to input that information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. Now, this is pretty intuitive. If it's horizontal, that means it's the formatting of the bars. This is columns, the formatting of the columns. So I'm going to hit the drop down button, hit customize, and opens the window here. The right hand side is what you've actually brought up into display into your project, and over here is the list of all the available fields that you can set columns up for. So I'm going to highlight over here because I don't want to see any of the budget data. So it's now taken and moved it back over here. So let's see. Let's go in. I'm going to go back to the top. And let's say I don't know where it is. I can hit the drop down button, hit find, and I'm going to type activity code. Okay. So it's taken me here to global activity code. So I'm going to hit the drop down button. Okay. And we are going to add in master project. Now again, this is an activity code, which we talked about that in one of the earlier sessions. Let's say that I also want to find out, I'm not going to do costs, but let's come here don't have any project code yet. Units. No, we're not going to do that. Let's say we're not sure what calendar we're using for each activity. So I'm going to come over here and put the calendar code. Now I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to hit OK. And now notice I have these columns. So I'm going to say that every time I go to set up a project, for this particular type project, this is what my layout's going to be. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to do layout, save as, LKC 3331, project setup. And if I want to be able to view it, not just for my own benefit, but for all users, I click on all users. Now this is in the case that you're all connected on a server, but I just have the normal habit of doing that. So I'm going to hit save. So now notice if I go in here, layout, open, I'm going to find LKC 3331 project setup. And it's set up just the way I want it. So if I were now to come in and add an activity in here, it's got me a new activity, okay, and I'm going to say create list of structure. Hit enter. Okay, so I can come over here now and notice it says standard 5-day work week. So I'm going to click it open, and now all my calendar options are open to me. And since I work on the weekends a lot, I'm going to press a 7-day work week. Now that is much faster than coming over here and clicking here to set up your calendar. So this whole function, this whole layout function, is a tremendous time saver. And if you can figure out what columns you need to see when you're updating different activities, this is the way to go. I can come in here, click on this. Notice there are no current activities. Filter by, I'm going to do all values. Looky there. Now it's brought up all the values that I've set up for this particular activity code. Now in this particular case, these are on the Lucille and Crescent Park project, which don't apply to what I'm doing here. So it really didn't do any good. So I'm going to close out of it. Okay. So do you see that? Do you see where how you can create functionality by setting up the layouts and the use of your filters? How effective that can be for finding information within your schedule. Now, layouts, filters. Let's go here. You could always copy, select one that you want. Let's go here and let's do copy for the longest path. Should create a copy. It's thinking. Maybe it's only one of those. Okay, let's try this copy. Okay, we need to select it. Copy. Doesn't seem to want to work tonight. Okay, let's try something else. Let's go in here and wow. Oh, here we go. Layout filters. So in progress, I'm going to hit, there it is. It copied in progress. I'm going to hit now modify to see what's in it. So in progress, any of the following. Now, this is typical logic. So in this particular case, it's either any or all. Any or all. And the only way I can tell you to get accustomed to using these filters is just to experiment with them and to go look and see what other ones are set up. So it's any of the following conditions where the activity status equals in progress. Now notice it's got a value or a condition. So let's hit this. So let's put is not equal to completed. Okay. Now I've basically just said the same thing but in a different way. So what I've said is, instead of is equal to in progress, I've said where the status is not equal to complete. You see how they're both saying the same thing? So this is the in progress LKC. Again, once you start a system, always do it the same way. Okay? And now I'm going to hit OK. Now let's say I wanted to go back here and modify it again, and I hit add. Or, so it's giving you an either or, so the status is not equal to completed, or activity equals in progress. So now I've created, again, what we just talked about. They're both the same conditions, so this filter should work. So I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to do this, click it, and hit apply. Okay. And notice it's taken out my activity. Okay. Let's go filter. I'm going to hit modify again. Okay, it shouldn't have taken out that activity because I didn't have a completed date. So let's just remove this line. So I'm going to hit delete. So I'm wherever I had highlighted, it's going to be removed. I'm going to hit OK. Okay, and now I'm going to hit apply. It's still not working. Let's go back and hit all activities. Apply. See, again, this is why you have to play with this filter function. Because, well, unless it's reading the data date, although this is not an actual date. Let's come in and change this activity to 50 days. So we know we're beyond the date, today's date. Since today's date is September 4th. So let's just double check this. So I'm going to come in here and do filter. And I'm going to come up here to the default one and do in progress. Apply. Okay, so this is the deal. Because I haven't put a start date on it, it's not in progress, I bet. So let's clear out of here, and then I'm going to come in and add actual start date. Okay, and I'm going to add the actual start. This is projected start, this is actual start. Okay, so now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put an actual start date of September 3rd. Now let's go apply the filter and see what happens here. Okay, that was the answer. See how it kept it in here? So by using the filter in progress, it's going to look to make sure that it has started. Did you see that? So again, to get used to filters, the only way I know to tell you to do this is by trial and error, so that you get a feel for how it works. I hope this helps. Again, the layout function is very, very important to help you automatically update your data. You notice how I did this and update at actual start. I highly recommend that you do that when you get ready to start working with updating your schedule. It'll go so much faster than it will by using the status bar down here. So all you have to do is figure out here what information you're going to be looking for. Again, it's what do you want to try and get out of your schedule. So you need to have a thought process about what that is when you go to set up your filters and your layouts. We'll see you in class.